Hello, welcome back to Twins Reviews. Today we are reviewing the Kovol 120 watts charging station. Let's get into it.
Alright, let's unbox it. It comes in a pretty small package. As you can see, you get a pretty long wire, which is pretty beneficial. That plugs into the back and into the wall. Then you get the charging brick itself, which is small and compact, but it is actually pretty heavy. And there it is, and you get a user guide as well.
Before we talk about the product, I would just like to say thank you so much for the support. We've been going steadily on our channel, and if you like and enjoy our videos, make sure to leave a like, and you can also subscribe down below. Now let's jump into the video. Hold on.
Alright, first of all, we'd like to thank Kovol for sending us this charging station. But before we actually start talking about it, I want to let you know a few things. There's much more to these than you may think, and there's a lot of these charging stations out there. So in this video, we will not be recommending this charging station. However, what we will be talking about is how to differentiate between the different types and what you should be looking for when you're looking for one of these, and then you can decide on your own if the price is worth it. And by the way, the price of this hangs around the $70 to $100 mark.
Yeah, and sometimes you can save on these with the little Amazon coupon codes that they provide, and we do link that in the description down below, so if you ever want to purchase something, then you can use that, and sometimes there's a coupon code and you'll get a certain amount off. I want to start by talking about the build of it. As you can see, it's fairly small, and you could probably take it with you, but it is heavier than it looks. The 4 ports are on this side. You have the USB-C and the USB-A. So it comes with 4, and it plugs from the back side right here into the wall.
It also has a little LED display. I'm not entirely sure what it displays. It just has 3 displaying ports. I'm assuming it's that it's working. Usually when you plug it in, it lights up green. Now, 120 watts. That is the most important piece of information that you will find about this charging station, because 120 watts means how much charging power this thing can allocate to 1 or 4 devices that you plug in here. 120 watts is the maximum amount of power that this thing can give. Now, 120 watts is actually a lot of power. Most phones don't take more than like 20 or 25 watts. However, when you do start plugging in more items or devices into this thing, the amount of watts that it actually gives gets cut. So for example, if you're charging a MacBook, and it takes around 100 watts, so it's gonna use around 100 watts out of this thing. If you plug in another MacBook, it's actually gonna chop that in half, and it's gonna give about 60 watts to each. However, it doesn't always cap at 120 watts, so it's probably more likely gonna be charging at around 50 watts for both.
Yeah, and that's important to understand, especially when you go to plug in 4 devices and you expect them to be charged in an hour, and you come back and you're like, oh, why is this not charged? Why is my phone not charged? Well, you plugged in 4 other devices, so it kind of allocates those watts to, each device that you plugged in, if you will.
The really good thing about having a 120 watt charger like this one is most devices aren't even gonna use the full potential of this thing. So you are probably going to be charging most of your devices at full capacity. This is why having 4 splits and 120 watts is actually pretty good. Now, it comes with a higher price range, obviously, but 120 watts, this should be a consideration for you if you're actually going to be using the 4 different charging methods. If you're only gonna be using one, you're probably not gonna be getting as much benefit out of this thing as you could be, because it's just gonna be capping at how much watts that device takes.
Yeah, and you do know that something like this is used when, people travel and they have, 4 people, maybe 4 family members that need to charge their phone or something like that. But aside from that, you wouldn't need something like this. I also want to say that there is a ton of charging stations out there, and this is just one of many, and I encourage people to go out and actually do their own research, what would fit their situation the best. So for example, even though this might seem better than something else, it might not necessarily be better for your specific situation. Me personally, for around $80, I probably wouldn't, because of my certain situation. I'm not really the big travel guy. I don't really need something like this, but for you, it may be different.
For me, it is a little bit different because I have a whole charging station of batteries, and something like this might actually come in handy to me more than to him. So I will be utilizing probably most of the 120 watts in this thing thing because I have just so many batteries to charge. So it's really situational, but like he said, definitely have a look at the different options and compare the two numbers, the watts and the price. You're gonna look at how much watts it outputs and what is the price, as well as how many devices it can take. That is gonna tell you how much it's gonna split the watts by.
If you really want to get nerdy with it, you could take the watts and divide it by the dollar amount, and then you could get a watts per dollar ratio, and there you go. Then that's how you'll know. They teach us that in business. Not really.
Yeah. And if you want to get even nerdier with this, we will have a blog post that goes into a little bit more detail of how the whole watts thing works, because it is way more complicated than we've explained about it. So, and the only real way to test how these watts are distributed is with a special device that we don't have, so we can't actually test it to full capacity. However, what I did test is I tested two of the same batteries, one plugged into this charging mate and one plugged into just a regular brick. And actually, surprisingly, this one did charge it about an hour quicker, but they're bulky batteries and they took like 8 hours. So 1 hour is like 1/8, which is really not a big difference. So I don't think that's something that you should be going off of. But if you want to get some more information, our blog post about this product will be down in the description.
All right, that is it for today's video. Again, the most important thing is that you want to try to distinguish between these and pick which one is good for your situation. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Among Us.